Well, welcome everybody. I appreciate you being here today. This is the Art of the Promo seminar, and my name is AJ Kirsch. Before we dive in, I just want to thank you all for signing up. Needless to say, these have been some unique, challenging, and at times frustrating circumstances for all of us. Nobody's life is going according to plan right now, and it's challenging, and where there's a challenge there's opportunity, and we have an opportunity to meet that challenge head on. We have no choice. We have to meet that challenge right now. And so as a full-time actor and live performer, all of my work has been erased thanks to COVID-19. I'm a devoted gym rat. The gyms are closed, so it's definitely an odd time right now. And just the fact that I'm sure it's not just for me either. I'm sure all of you are going through some tough adjustments as well. It's tough times. It's hard times, Daddy. It's tough times for everybody right now. So the fact that you are taking it upon yourselves to continue your pursuit to get better as a performer, as a public speaker, as a professional wrestler, whatever brings you here today, the fact that you are not letting the current circumstances deter you from pursuing your dreams, from getting better at your craft, you have every reason to be very proud for that. And my income's fucking gone. It's gone. It's like it just poof, it disappeared. So the fact that you are willing to pay money, hard-earned money that is being stretched tighter than maybe ever before right now, the fact that you are willing to invest that is literally helping me sleep better at night. So I cannot thank you enough for signing up today, for purchasing the video if you're not actually watching this live as it happens, for purchasing the PDF. This has been a huge, huge help. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you all very, very much for being here, for watching this, and for sharing in our collective passion for performing and for professional wrestling. So could not in good conscience begin the seminar without getting that out there right off the bat. Who the fuck am I? That's the first thing in the PDF. Who the fuck are you? My name is AJ Kirsch. Many of you might have first saw me as a contestant on the 2011 season of WWE Tough Enough on the USA Network, it's now on the WWE Network if you want to check it out. I think technically it was season 5, because there was that weird season that was a part of SmackDown that was just hella awkward, and I don't know. I think technically it's season 5, but 2011 was the year. It's on the WWE Network. That was where I first that's where I had my cup of coffee in the big time with WWE. And it was on Tough Enough that I realized my contributions to professional wrestling might not be most valuable as an in-ring performer, as I'm sure many, if not all of you, have seen in my promotion for this seminar. One of the clips that I used quite frequently was me cutting that promo on Bill DeMott on episode 8, I think it was, with The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and Trish Stratus at ringside. No pressure, right? And it was actually in that moment that I realized that maybe my contributions to professional wrestling are more valuable behind a microphone than in a ring. And that was not easy for me to come to grips with right off the bat, because I'm sure like many of you, my dream as a kid was to main event WrestleMania and to win the WWE championship and blah, 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 all that stuff. I don't need to elaborate any further. Y'all know what I'm talking about. That was the dream, and I wasn't ready to give up on that yet. But also, having watched prior seasons of Tough Enough, I realized that just because you don't win Tough Enough doesn't mean that you don't get signed by WWE. If nothing else, making it 8 out of 10 episodes on Tough Enough and having that shining moment during that promo put me on WWE's radar in a way that I had never been before. I realized I was closer than ever. So part of me coming out of Tough Enough with that promo under my belt was, if I want to make myself as valuable a commodity to WWE as possible, I need to get better at as many different things pro wrestling related as possible. So that included not just becoming a better wrestler, but I wanted to become a better talker. I wanted to get good at commentary, hosting, ring announcing. I'd already been a referee. And so that's kind of when I started pursuing other avenues of entertainment. That's when I started getting into acting work, commercial work, reality shows, voiceover work. And we're going to touch on all that a little bit later on. And I'm going to talk about how my experience in those other avenues of entertainment eventually helped me become a better pro wrestler. But also, I would not be nearly as successful in those other avenues of entertainment had it not been for professional wrestling. So more on that later. After Tough Enough, I became the host, the ring announcer, and the live commentator at a promotion called Hood Slam in Oakland, California, which is a 21 and over promotion. Definitely not your little siblings WWE. In fact, one of the slogans is "Don't bring your effing kids." Wait, I can swear on this. Don't bring your fucking kids. And I also became the ring announcer and host at All Pro Wrestling in Hayward, California. Did shows all over the Bay Area. I became the host and commentator at Best of the West in Fresno. And fast forward a little bit later, and I'm now one half of the broadcast commentary team for Major League Wrestling. So, and none of that would have happened had it not been for that moment on Tough Enough. In the summer of 2016, I participated in Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's Rock the Promo competition as Broseph Joe Brody, which is a character I do at Hood Slam. And before anybody says, hey, that's Matt Riddle's gimmicks, why are you stealing his gimmick? I've been doing Broseph since 2012 when Matt Riddle was still in the UFC looking like Justin Bieber. So I scoff a little bit every time I see original Bro on his gear. I'm like, that's funny. But he's a hell of a wrestler, though. I'm not taking anything away from his ability in the ring. He's a phenomenal wrestler. But I'm just saying there are more professional bros out there. And as Broseph Joe Brody, I competed in Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's Rock the Promo competition in 2016, which was the project that launched his YouTube channel. And I had my promos judged by Kurt Angle, Christian, Cody Rhodes, Mick Foley, Edge, and then it was a nod from The Rock himself that eventually made me the first and as of now only Rock the Promo champion, a title that I'm sure you can tell I'm very, very proud of. And in the more recent past, as I said, one half of the commentary team for Major League Wrestling, and I also ended up voicing Buzz, the main character in the My Career mode in WWE's flagship video games, WWE 2K19 and WWE 2K20. We don't need to talk about 2K20. And before you ask, I have literally no information on the next game. So I have no idea what's happening with 2K21. Literally none. So that's a little bit on my background. That's why you're here, because you're not going to pay money to get knowledge from some schmuck who's just like, me talk words good. So thank you again for being here. And for those of you who are unacquainted, Anthony Thomas, I knew your voice sounded familiar. So that's why I'm here. And that's my resume in a nutshell. Let's get into the art of the promo. Let's just roll up our sleeves and dive in head first. Despite a whole lot of people not wanting to admit it, professional wrestling is theater more than anything else, okay? It's real people playing characters that don't actually exist, and they're performing in front of a live audience. Now, that might be hard for some people to hear because there has been this just drilled into your head that we're supposed to treat it like it's real. It's a real sport or it's a real fight. Like, that's the illusion we're trying to maintain. But can we just be fucking honest about what professional wrestling is? Like, it's 2020. The secret's out, people. It's not a sport. It's a performance. It's art. It's performance art. It's drama. We're using our bodies to tell a story, a fictitious story. It's a work of fiction. Yes, the danger is very real. The physicality is very real. But if anybody tries to tell you that they're a professional wrestler and they're trying to punch their opponent as hard as they can, they're a fucking liar, okay? Because their opponent, if they got punched as hard as they could, would not take that for one single second, and then all of a sudden you'd be watching a real fight. I'm very passionate about this because I think people being so locked into this old school mindset of you've got to protect the business and you've got to treat it like it's real, it's trying to convince grown-ass adults that Santa Claus is real. Santa Claus ain't real, y'all, but that doesn't mean you still can't get excited about the holidays, okay? So pro wrestling is theater. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Now, because it's theater, the idea is to maintain some type of illusion, okay? The illusion in theater is drama, right? It's character development, it's story. They're just trying to get you in the story, right? They're just trying to get the audience emotionally committed to the characters, and they want the audience to hang on every moment that's happening, right? Professional wrestling is no different. Although the physicality is far more demanding, because physicality is the means of storytelling. That's one of the reasons why, like, obviously there's a lot of injuries. It takes an incredible toll on the body, but the performers in the ring are still trying to protect each other as best they can while maintaining the illusion of a fight. That's the art of professional wrestling. They're trying to protect each other, right? When you actually drop somebody on their head, you know, you want them to tuck their chin so they don't actually fucking die, right? That's the point. And pro wrestling is also a community, right? Like, that's one of the reasons why all of us are here today. And even though a lot of these seminars are designed by the boys for the boys, which is quickly becoming, if not already, an outdated term, like, the fans are part of that community too. So even if you're not a performer, I appreciate you being here, just wanting to have like a better understanding of what makes a good promo. And when everybody gets together, performers and fans, and we all get on the same page, like, we're just saying to each other, you know what? Let's all get together and play make-believe. Because even though we're all adults in some extent, to some extent of the word, it's no less thrilling to get together and play make-believe. And when we purchase a ticket to a show, or when we watch a show, streaming or whatever, it's like buying a ticket to a movie, right? You know Mark Hamill is not Luke Skywalker in real life. But when you're there, Luke Skywalker is still real to me, damn it. And so if you're a performer, if you're a professional wrestler, or if you're just a public speaker, it's your job to make your audience believe in what you're doing. That's it. And it's easy to just put it in that succinct little phrase, but it is obviously incredibly hard to do. But that is your responsibility as a performer, whether it's in front of dozens of fans or 100,000. It is no easy task to convince people in the audience who have paid money to believe in the illusion you are creating. And the best make it look easy. And it is anything but. And that illusion that we're trying to create, it comes in many forms, including making the action in the ring look as believable as possible. Now, there are some things that happen that you just subscribe to as a pro wrestling fan. Like when somebody whips somebody into the ropes, no one in real life is just going to bounce off the ropes and run back at you. They're going to slide under the ropes and get the fuck out of there. Like, nobody in their right mind would just bounce off the ropes and come back at somebody. But as a pro wrestler and as a pro wrestling fan, you just accept that as part of this suspended disbelief. That's just part of the reality of professional wrestling, right? You're trying to convince people that the action in the ring is real, or at least make them believe that it's real. And nobody is going to care about the action in the ring, no matter how spectacular or how dangerous, if they don't care about the characters engaging in the action. That's why high spots for the sake of high spots mean nothing the second they're over. Like Jeff Hardy, right? Incredible daredevil. I'm amazed he can still walk. A spectacularly talented performer. And, you know, the Swanton Bomb is an amazing move, right? But if the fans don't care about Jeff Hardy, then the Swanton Bomb is only as spectacular as it's only impressive as it's happening. It's like, whoa. And then as soon as that's over, it doesn't mean anything. But if you care about Jeff Hardy, it's the greatest thing in the world. So whenever you hear old timers or veterans talk about flippy shit and how flippy shit doesn't mean anything, it's because people need to care about the characters. And if they don't care about the characters, they're not going to care about the performer who's literally risking their life to entertain the fans. So make them care about the performer and they will care about the move. That illusion is absolutely critical during a match, but your ability to cut a promo, like, I don't want to take anything away from the physicality. Obviously, when it comes down to pro wrestling, it's bell to bell, right? Wrestling matches need to happen. But your ability to cut a promo can give further depth to that illusion that you're creating because it adds further depth to your character. It gives the fans, your audience, a chance to connect with you in a way that they can't through the physicality of professional wrestling. Does that make sense? Like, every time you cut a promo, you have a chance to show the audience a different side of your character. You have a chance to make them believe in you more than they did before. And if they can believe in you when you talk, then they're going to believe in you when you wrestle. It's all connected. It's all connected. And maintaining that illusion of a character that people believe in, like, is the difference between a good performer and a great performer. And I don't know about you, but I don't think anybody gets into professional wrestling to settle for being a good performer. Thus ends the introduction of the Art of the Promo seminar. We're going to get into understanding your character, because after that diatribe I just went on, I think it makes sense to start talking about what makes a good character. First things first, okay? You have to be honest with yourself about your character. And what I mean by that is Adam Thornstowe, who is a longtime friend of mine from the NorCal wrestling scene. He's currently a part of Impact Wrestling as one half of the tag team, the Reno Scum. Superbly talented professional wrestler and a damn good talker too. He came back from a WWE tryout years ago and passed along some advice to me that he got from either Steve Kern or maybe it was Dr. Tom Pritchard. They told him, you need to look at yourself naked in the mirror and ask yourself if you would pay money to watch you perform. I don't know why the naked part is important, but I feel like it takes away, like, you know, if your gear is super flashy or if you're wearing a mask or whatever, like, it makes you be really honest with yourself. You know, you have to look at your body. Pro wrestling is an aesthetic business. And so if you want to be a reason that people pay money to see you, you need to be honest about your body. You need to be honest about your gear. You need to be honest about your entrance, your presentation, and you need to be honest about your character. And you need to be honest with yourself if you would pay money to watch you perform. And if the answer is no, or if the answer is anything less than an emphatic, fuck yeah, I would. Like, if there's any hesitation, you need to address that hesitation. You need to be very honest with yourself about why you, a wrestling fan, wouldn't pay money, wouldn't pay a $20 ticket to watch you perform. And you need to be honest with yourself about how you're going to change that. Because ultimately, if you can't draw, if you can't get a promoter's attention, if you can't prove to the locker room, the audience, the promoter, to everybody that you're a valuable commodity, somebody is going to be booked on that show and you're not going to be. And that's just part of the harsh truth, not just of professional wrestling, but of any performance, show business. Like, you need to show everybody pretty quickly why you're unique and why they should care about you. So stand naked in front of your mirror and ask yourself that question. And if the answer is anything less than a fuck yeah, I would, you've got some work to do. Now, a common expression I've heard, and I'm sure you have too, is an engaging gimmick is part of your personality with the volume turned way up, right? We've heard that, I don't know how many times, you know, the best gimmicks are your personality turned up to 11 or whatever. What is it about that part of your personality that you want to dial up that will get a reaction out of people? It's not just, well, I laugh a lot, so I'm just going to be this character that just laughs a lot, or whatever it is. Like, you need to pick a part of your personality that gets a reaction out of people. Like, if you know how to be an asshole, then be an asshole. If you know how to be sympathetic, then be a sympathetic character. If you want to be a smartass or cocky or humble or honorable, like whatever it is, you know, everybody's got a lot of different shreds of their own personality, and you can choose any one of them to amplify to make this character, right? What's important to keep in mind though is, can this part of your personality that you're ramping up get a reaction out of people, not just once, but time and time again? Because if people watch you perform and you do the same thing every time, and I'm not talking about like a catchphrase or a finishing move or something like that. I just mean if it feels like they're watching the exact same performance every single time, then you're going to get stale real quick, and people are going to become less and less interested in your character. Here's a good example, actually. So the character that I do at Hood Slam is Broseph Joe Brody, right? Total bro, douchebag, frat boy. Like if Spring Break were a person, it would be Broseph Joe Brody. And the thing I keep going back to is like he is absolutely shameless about his love for Nickelback. And I know Nickelback is like the punchline for every bad music joke for the last like 10 years. You know what I mean? Like Nickelback just is the brunt of bad music jokes. Well, fun fact, I, in real life, am a shameless, loud and proud, unironic Nickelback fan. And every time I say, I guarantee you somebody's rolling their eyes right now or scoffing or maybe snickering, and I can't see you right now. I only have like 2 people up on my screen. But that's why I'm so vocal about Broseph loving Nickelback, is because to this day, it still gets a reaction out of people. Like, people just hear Nickelback and they're just like, oh my God, he's one of those fucking guys. Yeah, Broseph is one of those fucking guys because he loves Nickelback and he's not afraid to say it. And me in real life, I love Nickelback and I'm not afraid to say it. I noticed in real life that Nickelback gets a reaction out of people. So I'm like, maybe I should incorporate that into my character. And I do, and it works literally every time. As soon as "Look at this photograph" starts playing with my Broseph entrance music, I can hear people who have never been to Hood Slam before laugh or groan or just like, oh my God. So to this day, incorporating Nickelback into my character gets a reaction out of people because it's a part of me. I love Nickelback. Like fucking, and if you don't, by the way, you're lying. Like everybody knows and loves at least one Nickelback song. Like if I say "Never Made It as a Wise Man," everybody knows what song I'm talking about. Every last one of you. I don't even care. If you're in denial, then that's cool. But everybody, thank you, Sean. Sean likes Nickelback. He knows what I'm talking about. Okay, swig of BCAAs for a working man.
Look at this photograph.